motion sickness. Somebody roll the windows down. There are no words in the English language that I could scream to drown you out. Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. I've gotten a few requests to do more Phoebe Bridgers songs, so today I'm going to do the first Phoebe Bridgers song I ever heard and the song that got me into her music, and that is Motion Sickness. Really cool song, fairly simple to learn. Let's just get into it. Okay, so let's start off by learning the chords for the verses. I recommend getting the chords and lyrics chart. I put a link down in the description. That'll help you follow along and see where the chords you play line up with the words. Maybe one of the trickiest things about the song is just knowing how long to stay on a certain chord between sections, and it's not always the same. I wrote in some of that timing on the chord chart, so that'll help with that. Anyway, here's the chord progression for the verse. First chord we need for that verse is a G flat major. It's going to be a G flat, a B flat, and a D flat. And throughout the song, in our left hand, we're just going to play single bass notes on the note that the chord is named after. So G flat major chord in the right hand, G flat in the left hand. I'll probably start with my second finger on that. Next, we need a D flat chord. So of course, the left hand's going to go down to a D flat note. Now, instead of hopping our hand down to a D flat major chord like that, we're going to do an inversion of it like that. So it's going to be an F, an A flat, and a D flat up top. Now notice how smooth you can move between that G flat and the D flat, and a lot of the verse is going back and forth between those. We're also going to need a B flat minor. Now I'm just going to stretch my left hand thumb up to hit that B flat bass note, and once again we're going to do an inversion. Instead of doing it maybe up here, we're going to take that F down here. We've got an F, a B flat, and a D flat. Once again, by using these different inversions, it's so much smoother. It keeps the hand right in the same spot, and it sounds a little bit more like the guitars on the recording. The only other chord we need for the verse is an A flat major chord. It's gonna sound like this. So left hand's doing an A flat, right hand's doing an E flat, an A flat, and a C. So in a minute, I'll just play through this whole verse. Now, a couple things to know. We're in 4/4 time, so that means each one of these measures gets 4 counts. It's not a very fast 4/4 time, maybe about like that. And throughout the song, I'm going to add a little bit of rhythm in the right hand, just quarter notes so we kind of feel the beat a little bit. Say we're just hanging out on a G flat chord, it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now I'm going to be careful not to just bang it out, otherwise it'll kind of overwhelm the vocals. And now that we have all that clear, I just want to mention the intro, which happens before this verse that we're doing, and it's just 4 measures of that D flat major chord. Just going to start the song like that. I'm going to sing this whole song an octave lower than Phoebe Bridgers sings because my voice can't sing up there, but it is in the same key, so it'll sound low because I'm singing it down there, but if you can do it, you can sing it exactly the way she does. So starting from the intro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not doing the bass note on every single measure, kind of every other one there. Here's the verse. I hate you for what you did, and I miss you like a little kid. Up to the B minor now. I faked it every time, but that's alright. I can hardly feel anything. I hardly feel anything at all. Okay, so let's talk about that. That's a little complicated in there. Just notice I'm kind of messing around with the finger numbers here. I moved my thumb up there. I also used my thumb for the A flat. The finger numbers exactly don't matter too much, whatever feels good for your hand. And we have this weird measure here where we have the G flat and the A flat. Now it's 3 beats of the G flat and then a really quick A flat just on the 4th count before going down to the D flat. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually, just because it happens really quickly, I might just do these 2 notes of the A flat and skip the E flat chord there, just because it kind of happens in passing there, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then you can just kind of go up to your 2nd and 4th finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So 2 measures of D flat there. Now, so that's that whole first verse. And there's 2 other verses in the song just like that, except only the first verse has the 2 measures of G flat at the beginning and the 2 measures of D flat at the end. The other verses just have 1 of each. Because the first verse is like, I hate you for what you did. And then the next verse is, you gave me 1,500. So the pace picks up there. I'm going to just play through the second verse, which again is a little more typical of the pacing of the verses. You gave me 1,500 to see your hypnotherapist. I only went one time, you let it slide. Fell on hard times a year ago, was hoping you would let it go, and you did. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have. So we just landed in the chorus. So here's the chord progression for the chorus. Right off the bat in that first line, we need 1 new chord. That's the F minor. We're going to do it just like this. It's going to be a F, a flat, and a C. Of course, just an F bass note here. And we've got 2 spots in this line where there's 2 chords crammed into the same measure. That means that they'll just get 2 counts each. So it'll be like G flat, 2, 3, 4, D flat, 2, A flat, 2, G flat, 2, 3, 4, B minor, 2, F minor, 2, G flat. And in the second line, we need 1 more chord. That's the E flat minor 7. So of course, the left hand's gonna be on an E flat bass note. But for the right hand, rather than play the whole E flat minor 7 chord, we can skip the E. We're already doing it here. So it's gonna look just like the G flat major chord, but with an E flat bass note. Let me just play through that whole chorus. I have emotional motion sickness. Somebody roll the windows down. There are no words in the English language that I could scream to drown you out. And then after this first chorus, we're gonna go basically just to the D flat for 2 measures. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, as it gets ready to launch into the next verse. That next verse is just like the second verse, so with the shortened chords at the beginning and end. Then we get to another chorus. Now, I think for this next chorus, I'm gonna bring the right hand up an octave just so it feels like the song's kind of moving along. It's a little bit of development and energy there, so it'll be, I have emotional motion sickness. And this is a double chorus. It just does the chorus twice, the second half with the different words. So from the second line of the first half of this double chorus, there are no words in the English language that I could scream to drown you out. So second measure of G flat there, and then we're starting another chorus progression. Hey, why do you sing with an English accent? Okay, cool. We just got 1 more section to learn, and that is the bridge. So here's the main chord progression for the bridge. It does that 4 times in a row, 2 instrumentally, 2 with the singing, and then it goes a little bit different. Now, it seems like it would go A flat, B flat minor, G flat major, and that sounds kind of like the song, but we're actually gonna strip it down to just 2 notes at a time, 1 note in each hand. This is gonna really mimic the guitar part here. It's gonna sound like this. So just getting the essence of the chord, and you'll notice that rhythm was a little bit more complicated. We need to think in eighth notes, so instead of just thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, we're thinking about the space between those counts. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's going to be A flat, 2, 3, and then on the and after 3, and that's where we're gonna hit the B flat minor, and then the G flat actually hits at the very end of that first measure. It was too complicated to try to like really write that out, but it like anticipates that measure that it's in on the and after 4. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So if you're nodding your head, the B flat minor and the G flat happen on the up nod. And when it first drops into this section, I'm just gonna keep the rhythm kind of simple like that. But even on the second repetition, I might just add a little bit of pulse there. So then we've got, you said when you met me, On the recording, it's already starting to really kind of build up to the climax here. The drums are just going on eighth notes. So even in this second line of singing here, I might start going, you said when you met me, you were bored. So careful not to play it too loud, but that active rhythm is going to be really cool there if you can do it. So then we're on this final line, which starts really similar, and you were in a band. So it does the A flat to B flat minor thing on that rhythm, but instead of landing on the G flat, we're gonna go to an E flat minor chord. So I'm gonna do an E flat in the left hand, and then I'm just gonna do a G flat and B flat here in the right hand. You were in a band when, this part is cool, when I was born. So it goes major there. We had E flat minor, then E flat major on the word I was born in a band when I was born. So it's stepping outside the key there. It's kind of really colorful. You could even, if you want, add D flat to the chord to give it that dominant 7 sound. I don't necessarily hear that on the recording, but I think it sounds good. And that's going to be leading into that last chorus. I have emotional motion sickness. Just like the other choruses, it just ends a little differently. So the other choruses ended with 2 measures of G flat. This one ends with those measures of G flat plus an additional 6 measures. I tried to make it really clear on the chord chart where all those measures of G flat line up with the words, and then it repeats a bunch when the words are over 2. I think it'll be easiest if I just play it. So from the last line of that chorus, before we get to those repeated G flats, and I wanna know what would happen if I surrender to the sound. 3, 2, 3. Surrender to the sound. That was the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. That's the last measure. That's where the song ends. I realized as I was doing that, it doesn't matter too much for your own piano cover of it. You should just hang out on that G flat chord for as long as feels right to you, and then you can end it. All right, before I wrap this up and do a full cover of it, there's a couple kind of optional details that I want to mention. There's lots of subtle guitar melodies throughout. I'm not going to go over everything that the additional electric guitars play, but in some places it's pretty catchy and worth talking about. Basically anywhere in the song where it's just hanging out on a D flat chord for a couple measures, so like the intro, the end of that first verse, or after the first chorus, there's this little guitar riff that's like, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and so that's just B flat. I'm letting go of the F in the right hand. I'm gonna keep kind of hitting the D flat here, and it goes B flat, A flat, B flat, A flat, G flat, then back to F. It's just kind of harmonizing with that D flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So I might just throw that in. And something I notice about some of the additional guitar lines that kind of weave in and out in the recording is sometimes they hit notes that kind of implies like a little more color in the chord. So like, for example, sometimes when it's just hanging out on a G flat chord, you might hear a guitar in one ear play an A flat note in passing, and then you kind of experience it as a G flat suspended or G flat sus2 chord. And so I didn't want to be really specific in the chord chart about you must do that, but sometimes I'm just gonna throw that in when it sounds good. Like, I hate you for what you did, and I miss you like a little. Like maybe I'll hit it and then get off of it. Just gonna feel it out, and you can totally add that in as well. As the song builds and I wanna just get a little bit more energy, especially like the last chorus, I might just do a little bit extra rhythm in my left hand. Like, I have emotional motion sickness. So basically just adding some eighth notes in between counts, like 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. That just gives it a little bit more movement. And then finally at the end of the song, when there's all these repeated G flat chords, there's this cool guitar thing. It sounds like this. So every other measure. Does this alteration that I guess technically the right hand is doing what we've been doing for the D flat chord, except the bass note is staying on a G flat. And I'm hitting that on the and after 3, but then just bringing it back on the first beat of the next measure. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3. You could also just do it on beat 4. It's probably easier to do that and sing in that section. So that it does that every other measure until it ends. It kind of ends on just like that. All right, thank you for sticking with me. I'm gonna do a full cover now so you can see how all those parts we've just talked about fit together in the complete arrangement of the song. If you got some value out of this, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I come out with more videos like this. Give the video a like and let me know in the comments what song you want to hear next. All right, here is my version of Motion Sickness. I hate you for what you did, and I miss you like a little kid. I faked it every time, but that's alright. I can hardly feel anything, I hardly feel anything at all. You gave me $1,500 to see your hypnotherapist. I only went one time, you let it slide. Fell on hard times a year ago, was hoping you would let it go, and you did. Motion sickness. Somebody roll the windows down. There are no words in the English language that I could scream to drown you out. I'm on the outside looking through. You're throwing rocks around your room, and while you're bleeding on your back in the glass, I'll be glad that I made it out, and sorry that it all went down like it did. I have emotional motion sickness. Somebody roll the windows down. There are no words in the English language that I could scream to drown you out. Hey, why do you sing with an English accent? I guess it's too late to change it now. You know I'm never gonna let you have it, but I will try to drown you out. You said when you met me you were bored. You said when you met me you were bored, and you were in a band when I was born. I have emotional motion sickness. I try to stay clean and live without. And I wanna know what would happen if I surrendered.